Good day everyone, Trainer Maxim with you. Thank you very much for joining me for this quick fix series. Today we're going to address toes to the bar exercise. As always, thank you everyone who supports my channel. Thank you. Support angels, super thanks. Thank you everyone, guys and girls. Without you, I couldn't have done it. Toes to the bar exercise is a fantastic drill for your core, but actually not only for the core. That should challenge your shoulders, your hip flexors, and the core at some point. Unfortunately, we treat that exercise strictly as a core exercise, and as a result, it typically looks like this. We go up here, and we want to touch the bar with the toes, and we typically do this. One. And one more time. Two. Somebody is doing it this way. Somebody is doing it this way. So because the perception is the core, core, core. And we let the body to collapse into the pure crunch. However, we want to change the situation. Of course, you might have guessed what we needed to take care of. First, tall spine. Your spine should aim for a neutral position. Upper spine up, lower spine down, hollow created by the serratus posterior here to flare your rib cage at the bottom down to the pelvis. That creates very good activation of the core overall around your trunk. That's the first one. Second, open shoulders. If the shoulders are collapsing here, you have no chance to have a good fold at the hips because you're again in a crunched up position. Yes, you'll be challenging the core, but the rest of the components will not be working correctly, and even worse, you will be developing a bad habit of crunching and letting the core pull on the pelvis into the crunch. We don't want it. So the spine tall, the shoulders turned into the open position using the lower trapezius and serratus anteriorus to do this. Elbows locked. Now, when you're hanging in this position with the spine neutral and the shoulders open, compare this versus spine hollow, shoulders open. Now your position, now your spine is more neutral, shoulders more open, you're more in one line. Now the goal is to activate in the first place the hip flexors without disturbing the torso yet. So you can think about this as if you were trying to stay here and lift the legs without bending the torso as much as you can. So we use the compression strength we have been doing during the other exercises. You know how in gymnastics we do those sitting on the floor lifts. For the same reason, we learn how to use the hip flexors without disturbing the spine to make the hip flexors pull on the leg to its maximum capacity. And only after that, when we exhausted the hip flexion completely, typically it's slightly past 90 degrees, then only then we let the lower core to pull us into the curl. However, we still keep trying to maintain the spine neutral so that the spinal collapse, it's not overall sudden like this, but happens a little bit from the top to the bottom. We're trying to keep the top of the spine as neutral as possible, as uncrunched, as unarched or bent as possible, so that the engagement of the core, just like rolling a piece of paper into the tube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and while keeping compression in the hips, that's how we bring the legs up and they touch without leaning much back. That keeps the shoulders open. We're not challenging the shoulders. We don't lean, and of course, we don't have an incentive to pull to support ourselves. So spine tall, shoulders open, hip flexion first, and after rolling the core, rolling the spine in this fashion, trying to keep as much of the spine in still neutral position as possible. So yes, the spine is crunching, the core is engaged, but it happens through the resistance of the spinal muscles. And by doing so, you're conditioning the spinal muscles to stabilize the spine whenever the core is engaged. So you're developing an ability of the body to lock the spine between two forces. Spinal muscles here, which are keeping the structure of the spine, and the core in the front, which will be stabilizing the rib cage and glued to the hips so that your body is one whole piece moving nicely. And that's the whole point of the toe to the bar, those all components. So now let's have a look. Kind of okay version. If you still can do okay version, that's fine too. It's a good cornerstone, absolutely fine. You can, no one has ever done that version cleanly from the first attempt. No one. We start with not perfect version, make it a little bit more perfect and more perfect and more perfect. There is no limit for perfection. So we should try to achieve as much as we can. Let's have a look. So this position here, the first version we do typically bend the elbows a little bit here, 1, or crunch, 2. Now the better version, spine, shoulders, wrists, not like this, open, slightly sideways in one line. That will help your shoulders stay open. And we go from there. So here, spine hollow, good. And from this position, shoulders, elbows, all good. Now just the hip flexors. Hips, 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 hips. Now spine still, toe, 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 down. Yes, I leaned a little bit, as much as needed, but overall I tried to stay as neutral as possible. As a result, my core got very good activation. There was no swing, there was no nothing but good work, good coordinated work of the hip flexors, still holding my legs, because at a certain point the leg cannot be dragged to the torso. We will stop approximately here, and we keep that tension while torso is curling our spine, and that's how we bring the compressed hip with a straight leg onto the bar. It's not that only the core does it. Let's have a look one more time. I'll show it slowly. So your goal is 5 reps like this. You go here, and you're still thinking lower ribs, 4 ribs diagonally down to the spine to maintain hollow. So your rib cage is flaring down a little bit, down and in the back here. And let's do the hip flexors, hip flexors, hip flexors, hip flexors, hip flexors, hip flexors. Keep the spine neutral, keep the spine neutral, keep the spine neutral, keep the spine neutral, keep the spine neutral. Good. Rest. And that's it. That's how you fix your toes to the bar. No swing, nothing. Your goal 5 like this, and you will feel the difference. Okay, go try it at the gym. Let me know how it went. Comment. Training Maxim with you. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye.